Hi guys, welcome to Chakra Sessions. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbé, broadcasting to you live through Facebook and Be Live TV. Welcome everyone. It's such a lovely night on Star Nations. We have two back-to-back shows. So it starts with Chakra Sessions, where we're going to connect to the root of our spirituality. And then it'll be followed by a wonderful episode of Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann. So nice to have you guys here. Hi, Neshi. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. And as always, you know how you guys can help out by liking and sharing the broadcast and getting it out there into Facebook land so we can reach those people who might want this cool information that's coming up. And hi, Rochelle. Nice to have you. Howdy. Glad to have you in the house. We've spent the month of May really connecting to our root chakra and all the ways that it works in our physical body, in activating certain emotions, and how it impacts how we think. And now what we're going to look at this week, how it impacts our spirituality, and how it can actually help us ground our spirituality and our connection to our spiritual team and the divine. And there's a number of ways that we can do that. So that's really cool. Hello, Violet. I was thinking of you not that long ago, like maybe an hour or two ago. I was thinking about some spa. I wanted to do a home spa, and you popped into my mind. So it'd be really cool if you could share your information, because I was thinking about that body butter that you have and the scrub. So, you know, if not, at least send me a private message, because it was on my radar earlier and your name popped into my head. So that's always a good thing. So thanks, Violet. So I don't know about you guys, but it's been warm here. And today was interesting because it was the first time that I'd felt humidity this year. And that's always got its own flavor of energy. When the humidity enters the air, it impacts our aura in a particular way. It can really call forth our emotional energy. It stirs the waters within. And so it'll be interesting to see how that's affecting other people, because I was noticing that pressure change coming in. And it also creates a lot of foggy energy, because sometimes it allows us to, when there's extra liquid in the oxygen we're breathing, it sometimes is, again, once harder to ground and harder to connect. So it can give us that foggy sensation too. So who knows? I don't know if you guys are having that or not. But here on the East Coast, we were definitely having humidity today. Hi, Christine. Welcome. Glad to have you in the show. Nice to have you. So the root chakra, I'm going to do a grounding for us in just a minute. I want to give people a couple more minutes to get here. But that root chakra, we've talked about it. It's the foundation of who we are. It's our safety, it's our security, and it's how stable we feel. And right now, a lot of instability is going on as a planet. So even if it's, pretty stable at our own home, we may be feeling the ripple effects of people around us. We may be feeling, friends and family. We may feel the business men and women in our town who are, unable to open or can only open partially. We may be sensing the anxiety or sensing that, and it starts to wobble our root chakra. And when we wobble, we can have a lot of things come up. We can have that physical pain like we've talked about in our legs, our bones, our skin. But we also can have the emotional upheaval. And in that space of, when that fear gets activated about our safety, our intellect and our ego can go to town on creating stories about how we might not be safe. And so we can feel like we're being victimized or taken advantage of. And all of those things are natural when our root chakra is a little out of balance. So today, when we ground our energy, we're going to ground some of that excess energy that may be floating around in that root chakra and kind of bring it into balance. And then after that, we'll talk about how we can connect our spirituality into our root chakra and how our root chakra can really be that foundation for us. So how cool. Hi, Deborah Sue. Nice to have you. Glad you're here. Hi, Julie. Nice to have you. Nice to have you here. Hi, Christopher. Nice to have my cousin in the house. So yes, why don't we get started on our grounding? So when we're talking about, when there's channeled information, channel teaching coming in, like there is this evening, it's really good for us to be as physically present in our body as possible. So we're going to do a grounding specific for the root chakra. So that way you have it as a recording if you ever need it, especially right now. There's, we get unsettled in many different ways. And this is just one more way that you can use to bring yourself into the present moment and really connect to who you are and who you want to be. Thank you, Violet, for sharing. Because I'm really looking forward to that. Hi, Andrew. Glad to have you here. Yes, I am very well. Just was a little wobbly yesterday for my show yesterday when we had a few glitches going on, but that's okay. It's nice and calm today. So let's start with our grounding energy. Let's take a couple of really deep breaths. So as you breathe in, try to imagine your lungs filling completely, all the way down to the very bottom and into your belly even. And blow it all out. And just imagine as you're blowing out that air, you're releasing old stuck energy, old anxiety, old fear that may be sitting in those lungs, making it difficult to breathe fully. So take another big, deep breath. And we're going to begin by calling in the divine energy to create a sacred space for the teaching and the healing and the understanding for this evening, surrounding and protecting us in a temple of love and light. And we welcome in our spiritual teams to guide us. And we set the intention that this teaching and this grounding are for the good of all and harm to none, including ourselves. So we're going to begin by feeling and sensing our root chakra at our tailbone. The vibrant red color, imagine that ball of red light becoming bigger and fuller. Balancing the energy so it feels solid and stable. and able to support us fully in this moment. And we're going to ask that energy to move down our legs and our feet, deep within the earth, connecting like vines of a giant redwood tree. And feeling our sacral chakra right below the navel in its brilliant orange. Connected, supported, balanced, directly above our root chakra. And bringing in the energy in our solar plexus, beneath our rib cage, of that vibrant yellow orb of light. And letting our personal sun shine brightly, connecting to the sacral and the root chakra. Supporting and working together in peace and harmony. And bringing the energy up to our heart chakra and that vibrant green and the beautiful pink. That activate balance and harmony as the bridge between our survival body and our higher self, radiating out unconditional love, and allowing the colors to brighten to their fullest potential. And now grounding and connecting to our throat chakra, above the heart in the brilliant blue. Awakening the brightest version of our throat that we can hold in this moment. Balanced and in harmony with the rest of our energy. And activating and connecting and grounding our third eye, in the center of our forehead, in the brilliant shade of purple. Bringing it into balance, centering the energy, connecting and grounding it with all of our other chakras. And finally, doing the same with our crown, connecting to our crown above the head in that golden white. Restoring it to its fullest balance and allowing the energy to ground through all of our other chakras, our energy aligned in harmony and balanced in this moment. and inviting each layer of our aura to cleanse, restore, and repair. Above us and below us, in front of us and behind us, on either side, and even deep within. And now once more, center your energy on your root chakra, the grounding cords, your connection to your physical body. And allow any excess energy to go into the earth to help heal the planet and all of its inhabitants. And you can begin to dissolve your meditation. Nice, thank you. Thank you for sharing as well, Christopher, the link. So here we are in our root chakra. It's, you know, it really is the foundation that we build our whole energy on. So we know when there's a cracked foundation of a house that there's only so long that the building can still be standing. And so one of the things that helps the root chakra restore and repair itself is when we become grounded in our sense of our spiritual being. So this is when we focus on ourselves as a soul as opposed to ourselves as a body. And we are both. You know, the body is the vehicle for our soul, and it's very crucial and it's very important. And it gives us all these signals that we've talked about. It gives us aches and pains. It gives us our emotions as an indication that our energy is fluctuating. It has thoughts and ideas that spin in our head and that we may react to. But in the spirituality part of our root chakra, it is what connects us to the earth plane. And so for many people, the spiritual part of our root chakra is connected to things that allow us to feel spirit in nature. So there are things like connecting to the outdoors, asking the trees to help us ground, crystals to help us feel the energy that they hold and how it can help our energy body heal. And we all have some aspect of the earth that really calls to us. So there are many of us who are called to the woods, and there are others who are called to the water. I'm called to the ocean quite often. And that, you know, and it's interesting because I noticed that, you know, I've been at the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm very connected to the Atlantic Ocean. And there's nothing wrong with the Pacific Ocean. It just doesn't have the same healing properties for me. And I am more fond of the North, where we're in connection with, there's a lot of rocks on the coast. And so there's a lot more grounding energy, and there's natural crystals that often appear at different parts of the, on the different beaches and things like that. There's the rocky quartz that will show up, the milky quartz. So that's really, really part of my calling. So when we are trying to anchor our spirituality in our root chakra, it's really important for us to see how the divine shows up in the earth. And there are many of you who are beautiful gardeners. So we see it in the flowers. We sense it in the trees. There's beauty all around us. The connection to the fairy realm and the connection to just the elemental energy can all be a big part of things for us. And then we may be connected to like the volcanoes and the natural fire that the earth holds. Those are all ways that we call in at the foundation of our being, ourselves as a spirit. Because we see the creations and we see that beauty. For me also, it's art that's created, and art can be created in, paintings and dance and music, but it also can be created in a beautiful garden, or it can be created in the crocheting of, a beautiful Afghan. It could be in making food. I mean, there's so many artists. Andrew is an artist with food. So it's artwork, and you can feel the spiritual connection to that part that is anchored in this earth energy. So when we allow our root chakra to hold some spirituality in it, where we're not just concerned with our aches and pains, or we're not worried about all this fear, when we can be in the beauty and we're connected to our higher self, the spiritual aspect of that root chakra starts to expand. And I think of it as, it's an onion with layers. And so each of our chakras are, and the closest one to us is the physical, and then we have the emotional, the mental, and then the spiritual. And so if we can feel all 4 layers of the chakra, then we are less wobbly when life circumstances throw us for a loop. Now, that being said, the earth has her own set of chakras. And right now, she's in the midst of recreating her root chakra. And so because we are in her physical layer of her aura, we are feeling the effects of that. It's very much like we're in an earthquake, right? An energetic earthquake, because everything is getting shook up on a planetary level. It's not specific to one part of the world or another. She's had some hot flashes over the past couple of years, but now we're feeling the whole thing shake. And as that's happening, our old energy, our old wounds are clearing through all the layers. So we're clearing some physical things. I can't even tell you how many people have asked me about, their foot pain or their knees or their shins or their lower back, or why they're getting these weird rashes or eczema. It's like, well, because your root chakra is clearing all the way down to the physical realm. And if that's not happening, then you may be having these emotional roller coasters where you're fine, and then all of a sudden you go into overwhelm, and it's like you're saturated. There's too much emotions that are coming through, and you don't have time to process them. That's because it's getting squished and it's oozing out. And so when we can call in our spirituality to ground that root chakra, then we're less wobbly. And, you will hear spiritual teachers say this ad nauseum, but it's all about caring for the physical body. Our inner child needs to know it's safe. And so we have to take care of that child. And that child needs food. That child needs exercise. That child needs sleep. That child needs play. And that child needs to feel that things are going to be okay. And that's when we call in our spirit, because our spirit is able to remember that this is all part of the plan and that everything is going to be better on the other side. We just have to ride this wave. And as we're doing this as a collective on the whole global plane, there are times when we are going to do it more easily and times when we're not. And we're going to have friends who are having an easy time or a hard time, and we're all going to fluctuate. But this is when we start to see our connectedness, that we're not alone. We're never alone in our journey. We're all interconnected. We just sometimes aren't aware, and there's these stages of awareness that we go through. And the first one is so beautiful. It's like you woke up and you look around you and you're like, whoa, life's different. It's amazing. Look at that. And that's great. That's the honeymoon phase of the awakening, right? And then you start to notice the awakeness of other people or the patterns that are coming in that they're working on to heal and clear, because we're here to clear out the planetary gunk that's here. And we do that by finding what no longer serves us and releasing it. The let it go energy is key, but people don't understand what they're letting go of. They may think they're letting go of, a bad relationship, which is true, which can be helpful. But we also need to release within us all the reasons why we entered the relationship in the first place, and all the lessons that we needed to learn from the relationship and learn them. It's not enough just to know the lesson. It's the learning and the embodying the change so that the lesson doesn't have to repeat itself. I hope that makes sense. So Crystal was saying that he has a lot of crystals. And Christopher was saying that he's going to do more hikes. Lots of good vibes in the trees with me, the streams, the rocks I come across. Yes, I can see that, and I've seen that in pictures of you. Andrew says, I can always tell when I'm in the zone and when I'm not. Yes. I get dishes sent back when I'm not in my body, and I hear praise when I'm in the zone. Sometimes it can be frustrating using my gifts as a means to fulfill my root chakra needs. I know, right? But thank you for sharing that about being out of your body, right? Because when we are not aware, we can kind of zone out. We can check out. We go on automatic pilot. And when we do that, we have disengaged from our root chakra. So energetically, our root chakra, we sort of unplugged from that root chakra. And many people will say, I was ungrounded. And that's true because we're not holding our ground energy. And when we do that, we get spacey and we miss things, and it's easier to make mistakes. We have difficulty focusing. But when we're fully embodied, when we're using all of our chakras, then our upper connection to spirit, it allows space for the inspiration to come in and the wisdom to come in. And we don't need the praise. We love what we did. and then we do get it because other people are just, amazed. My husband tonight, he grilled on the grill, and it was so yummy, and it's not that it's not yummy other times, but it just had something more to it. And I asked, and he really enjoyed grilling tonight, because he was watching the the cloud formations as they were shifting and changing, and it was stirring creative energy. And then the alarm would go off and be like, okay, I've got to flip this, so that he could be in the creative place, but also in that grounded, taking care of our food place. So that's when we can find the ways to use both at the same time. Christopher is saying gifts are our tools to use when needed and when it can help. Yes. And it's great to use them all the time if you can. But that can be a challenge, right? Cindy Lynn, good evening. Glad to have you here. And she's saying, yes, emotional and physical roller coaster lately. Oh, everybody I know, I'll tell you. And that's because we're supposed to be doing that as a planet. And it's how we're going to change. You know, we've been unhappy with things being handled a certain way. And, you know, but we haven't been able to take action. And so what this is doing is it's giving us space to really create what we want our life to be, what we want our world to be, and really reminding us where our balance is between work and home and play, and to really value the things around us, because we've been so busy, we weren't noticing things. We weren't seeing the gifts that were all around us. So it's kind of like having the gifts taken away, we can really go back and treasure, you know, different workers, you know, that take care of us and we don't even think about it, you know. I mean, I know that there are a lot of the people who work in the food industry, like Andrew, people didn't necessarily tip very well and didn't understand what an honor it was to be served food from somebody who is gifted and loves to prepare food. And the gift of not having to do it all yourself all the time, or being at the grocery store and having what you want be right there when you want it. That was something we took for granted. And now we're getting to see that, you know, some gratitude could go a long way. So in that root chakra, one of the ways that we can really open our connection is by using affirmations that help us feel grounded in our root chakra, but also an affirmation is our way of connecting to our divine self. And when we start using affirmations, we can use affirmations, you can use mantras, you can use prayers, whatever works for you. I tend to talk about affirmations because they have no religious basis. So it's a phrase that works for you. And I'm a big fan of using the EFT tapping, which Ed Langen teaches here on Star Nations as part of his show sometimes. And when, and there's lots of wonderful videos on tapping, but if you tap on, when you use an affirmation and you say it to yourself, it's not that you're convincing yourself, it's that you're instilling that belief. And when you use tapping, it allows you to release anything that doesn't line up with that new belief you want. So some of the affirmations have a few typed up because I knew when I was channeling, I probably would forget. So a few affirmations that I've seen and heard for the root chakra, and these are just a few, but take a moment to hear each of them, feel whether they feel true for you, or feel like if it feels like one that you don't believe, then it might be one that it could help you start to expand the energy in your root chakra. So the first one is, my body is becoming more important to me. I nurture it constantly. The The second one is I am taking responsibility for my life. I can cope with any situation. I recognize the abundance of love, trust, and care surrounding me. My internal mother is always here for me, protecting, nourishing, and soothing me. I deserve the best that life has to offer. My needs are always met. I'm connected to Mother Earth and know the security of being grounded in reality in the moment. There's a few of you that one felt true for. It is safe for me to be here. The earth supports me and meets my needs. I love my body and trust its wisdom. I am immersed in abundance. I'm here. I'm real. Right? So these are all things that can help you with that energy that is really difficult. I'm just going to go to Martina quickly. So Martina says, I've been reading and learning about tapping. Yes. It's something that I do with my students in the very first year. The very first in-person class, they start learning about tapping because it's so easy to do for yourself. And I like to do it in the mirror. And I do the tapping until I feel all the stirring in my body calm down. And you know, there may be thoughts and events that come up as you're tapping, and you can do it simply by saying the positive. There are lots of times where with tapping, you take the negative thoughts around these things and you tap on the energy of that, because those are the old beliefs that need to go. But shifting into your truth really can align your energy, and it's like the falsehoods sort of pop to the surface, and that they allow you space to clear. And as Neshi was saying, tapping has been very helpful for her when she was moving emotional blocks, and emotional blocks are often, you know, really well ingrained, and the ones about, you know, where we don't feel safe, you know, we may have ones where, you know, I have to do everything alone. There's nobody to love and support me. There's never enough, or I am never enough. Or people are out to get me. Those are just some negative beliefs that may be in there that need come to the surface to do that. So Martina is saying, yes, I believe it's helping me a lot. Nice. And now she said the I am statements are so powerful. I am safe. I am loved. I am worthy. That's another big one. And the root chakra really is, I am safe. You know, I am complete. I am enough are really big. And Martina's also saying, I forgive you. I'm sorry. You are safe. Yes, that's a version of the Ho'oponopono. Nice. I love you is first. Yes. And Christopher said the root chakra affirmation he's seen is, I trust in the power of the earth and feel my own body. That's a very good one, especially if we tend to check out, if we tend to leave. One of the ones that took me a while to do, because I'm somebody who has a lot of post-traumatic stress. And, you know, I had 22 attempts on my life before I was a teenager. And so the big one for me to work on was, I am safe in my own body. Because that was hard to feel. It was hard to understand. And it just didn't feel true for such a long time. And, you know, the other one is I create my own safety, you know, so that we don't feel like we have to rely on somebody else to create safety for us, because that's when we go into victim mode. So that's another one. Yes. Christopher's mentioning the handbook of chakra healing. Yes, there are a ton of books on that on chakra healing and affirmations. I like Wheels of Life by Anna Dea Judith, and Eastern Mind, Western Body, I don't remember which way that goes. But that's another Anna Dea Judith. Those are like encyclopedias, and they have a lot of affirmations and stuff as well. But really all you have to do is notice, be in a place of noticing, you know, as you are having these upheavals, because we're all having them right now. And so when we have an emotional thing, you know, what is our base feeling? What are we scared of? What is overwhelming for us? You know, one of mine has been, you know, I'm very empathic, and a lot of us here are. And as an earth healer, you know, I clear the planet a lot. And I do it sometimes without awareness, that it just, you know, I'm walking down the street and I'm clearing the fear energy off the planet, and I don't notice that I get saturated. And so one of the things that was coming up for me was that I was saturated. I had no more room. And so in that space, it's like I'm clearing and releasing all that is flowing through me. I'm clearing and releasing all that is flowing through me is one of that, one of those things. So, oh, Neshi. And one day there will be a book. Yes, it's really close to done, actually. My chakra book is really close to done. You know, here, I can show you. This is part of it. Yeah, it's pretty cool so far. Got a little more to it, but there you have it. So this is just the 7 chakras. I haven't added in the soul chakras. That's why it's not complete. So in this space, when we get into energetic overwhelm, whether it's we're having a bunch of physical pain, or whether our emotions are going berserk, or whether we cannot focus because our brain is just spinning, these are all opportunities for us to shift our energy and really reconnect. And when we bring in spirit and ask spirit for help, then we can start to remember that we're spirit and we're not this physical body. We're so much more than that. And it's hard when we get scared, we forget. You know, we forget that we have the divine creator energy right within us. That spark in us is in all living things. And when we forget that, then we become ungrounded. We become unrooted in our own life, in our own path. So in the root chakra, when we are connecting to our spirituality, it's important to honor your body, honor the gift that it is for you, the vehicle that it is carrying you at this moment, and treat it with love and respect. And also connect with all of the earth in ways that help you feel that oneness, that connectedness, whether it's going out and taking a walk in nature, or being by water, or seeing the beauty. You know, there's so many trees and flowers that are out there blooming, and there are, you know, today when I was at the ocean, there were some little kids who were like running in and running out, and the squeals and the laughter and the excitement. It just brought all this joy energy flushing in. And when we're not aware, we don't connect to that, and it doesn't activate that same energy inside of us. And Martina saying, when I get scared, I do forget to ask. Oh, sweetheart, we all do. Even I do. Don't worry about it. It's the noticing that, you might forget in the moment, but that the time for asking. So the way my team is showing it is that, before it might have taken you like a week of being in distress before it would occur to you to ask or pray for help or assistance, or even ask another person for help. But maybe now it's only taking like, 2 or 3 days, or maybe it's only taking 2 or 3 hours. And then you're like, oof, I need help. And honor that how far we've come. Don't beat ourselves up for the not asking in the moment. That's part of the human experience. It's the, when you remember to ask, do it with that, oh, right, you're here, could you help me out? Kind of energy. And it allows us to feel that. And if we can't remember how to connect to our own team, then call on our friends, our spiritual friends who are connected to, and will give us good, advice, our sisters or our mentors, and be like, oh my gosh, this is going on. Talk me off the ledge. I have a few friends where we have that okay, can you talk me off the ledge? Because I'm having trouble finding my ground, or I'm having trouble getting out of my own way. And that's, again, it's part of clearing the mental realm sometimes makes it hard to remember. And that's why having an altar set up, or these places where it can remind us, you walk by it and it's a remembrance to connect to spirit in that moment. It can be really helpful. So Neshi is asking, so is the energy feeling of joy in the root chakra? The energy of joy is really connected to our inner child, and our inner child is able to express that and feel that most fully when we're grounded in our body. So I wouldn't say I would say it's rooted, yes. It's hard for our inner child to feel safe if we're not grounded. So if our child is able to feel joy, then we are in our root chakra. We are in the moment. We are in our body. So without being connected to that root chakra, we cannot feel the fullness of joy and happiness. So I think that's probably what you were asking. So Christopher's asking, how can we find our spiritual friends? Well, sometimes they're here. There's a lot of people who connect. That's actually how I first, well, not first, but it's one of the ways that I ended up connecting with people was right here on Star Nations in the chat. You go to the same show and it's the same people, and you start to say hello, and you find that they're your community. Sometimes you start to find your spiritual friends by taking classes, because you're all drawn to a similar energy. You all have a similar they're showing me a couple different things, sorry. So when you come together in a class, it's not just that you share in common the subject, but you often come together like a magnet because you have things to offer each other. It's like classes, spiritual classes come together in a synergistic way. So everybody is there to bring the group into harmony. And so often you'll click with people in those classes. And now in this day and age of social media and we have so many ways we can connect to people and we can start having these conversations. So that can be really cool. And oh, he's talking about his Martina was saying, you know, you're in it. And spiritual friends, he meant it, our spiritual team, our higher self, our ancestors. Well, that's a great segue. So coming up next is Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann, which is here on Star Nations as well. And she is fantastic at helping you connect with your angels in particular. And that the methods that she uses to help connect to your angels also works with your higher self and your spiritual team. So I really encourage you to connect with her. But as Neshi said, here are our private groups. This is our Star Nations live stream show group. You can go right to that page. And Star Nations Academy is where we do some of our online classes. So if you're looking to find that class, we will do them in person when, you know, we're allowed to again, but we're doing some online and it'll be great to see you. So with that, you guys have a blessed rest of your week. I will not be here next week. I am taking a week for a spiritual retreat. I'm allowing my spirit and my body to recalibrate as my birthday present to me. And so I will see you in 2 weeks. We will have a replay here, maybe a watch party going on for people. And with that, have a great one and go over to Maureen's show and have a great time. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.